Why is it that no matter what we accomplish, we somehow still feel like failures? Like no amount of external validation can quiet that internal critic. Maybe you just graduated at the top of your class, but you're convinced that you fooled every one of your professors. Or you just landed your dream job, but you're terrified they'll just eventually figure out you don't belong there. Or you have a spouse who adores you, but deep down, you know they'd run if they really knew you. People constantly tell you how talented, smart, or successful you are. And every compliment makes you feel like they just have no idea what's going on. Because no matter what you achieve, that voice in your head whispers the same thing. They're all just being nice to me. Or maybe they're lying to me, or they're easily fooled. You're not actually good at much. And someday, they'll learn what an idiot failure you are. If this sounds familiar, you're not broken, you're not crazy, but there is something very specific happening to you. And I should know because I lived with this for 30 years. That voice telling you you're an idiot, it doesn't stop there. It seeps into everything, trapping you in a cycle of self-doubt and ends up undermining everything you try doing. You feel tired and lethargic, spending hours scrolling on your phone and dreaming of doing something interesting, but you end up doing nothing. You start to feel cynical about yourself, your past, your future, your talent, and your potential. You're not really living. You're just not dead. If you're an entrepreneur, you feel like you'll never be successful and you suck at business and everyone else is better. If you're a creative type, you feel like you're out of ideas and you suck at playing your instrument or at making art or writing, and everyone else is better. If you're a parent, you wonder if you're screwing it all up and if your kids secretly don't even like you. And worst of all, you know none of this is true, but somehow it feels really good to believe it and wallow in it and hammer down all of the good thoughts and ideas that run through your head. I have a name for this problem. You're in a mental prison. In the mental prison, it feels better to believe you're an idiot than to know you're smart enough to solve your problem. You share your problems with a few people and they say, "Oh, you're smart, you'll figure it out." And you say as a half joke, "That's really nice of you, but I really don't think you know how dumb I am." It sounds so stupid when I say all of that out loud, but it's a mental reality I lived for 30 years. Once I had the realization that I was causing my own mental and emotional anguish, I came up with this visual that I was just watching my life through a set of prison bars that weren't attached to anything. I was holding onto the bars and nobody was forcing me to keep them in my hands. And yet I did for so many years. So the $1,000,000 question is, why? Why did I hang on to my mental prison? And why do so many others, like you perhaps? Well, I have a few reasons. First of all, letting go is terrifying. It's easy to acclimate to a certain way of living and thinking and responding to circumstances because when you've believed something long enough about yourself or your worth and your intelligence and your potential, it stops feeling like a belief. It just feels like reality, like the truth. And when someone tries to tell you otherwise, you don't hear the real truth. You hear misunderstanding. You think, they don't see the real me. So you go back to holding the bars, not because it feels good, although there is some satisfaction in the feeling of victimhood, but because it feels familiar. That's what you know. The second reason we hang on to the mental prison bars is that it's a lot easier than the alternative. What do you do when you don't have these negative beliefs and feelings about yourself? Just go on living like a healthy person? Give me a break. In all seriousness, we don't really know what it's like to live with a healthy perspective and positive self-esteem. Sounds crazy. It'd be like moving to another country and speaking a brand new language. It's really uncomfortable. A third, it's easier to blame something outside of you than to take responsibility for what's happening inside. Better to believe you're an idiot than to believe you're smart enough to fix everything and you just haven't. It's way safer to feel helpless than it is to feel powerful because power comes with accountability. Power means that if your life sucks, it's your fault. And most people would rather be stuck than carry that truth. So what do we do instead of fixing ourselves? We read books, watch inspirational YouTube videos, listen to podcasts, go to therapy, write in a journal, meditate, do cold plunges, use the sauna at the gym. Some of you have probably even tried ayahuasca in the jungle. In other words, we will do anything and everything except actually put down the bars. Without the bars, there's no one and nothing else to blame. It's just ourselves being accountable to ourselves. You can't make excuses or fantasize about something better when you put yourself in control of your own life. This is a very difficult thing to accept. But if you can do it, everything changes. And this leads to another $1 million question. How do we do this? Well, I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is there is no way to do this. You can't take a pill for it. You can't even take my advice. I'm not even sure you can pray your way out of it. I can't teach you a method because one doesn't exist. The only thing you can do is make new decisions and take action in your life. That's going to look different for everyone, which means the good news is that you are in control. You just have to tinker and experiment with your own life, which will get you outside of your comfort zone, and you'll have to break away from the decisions that have made your whole life the way it is. What got you here, where you feel stuck. What that tinkering and experimentation looks like for you, I have no idea. I barely understand what it looks like in my life most days, but I do know that regularly choosing discomfort and developing the muscles to navigate uncertainty have been game changers for me. So if you want to get unstuck, you're going to have to get uncomfortable and make some unusual changes in your life. And if you don't, you're just going to end up exactly back to where you are right now. Unhappy, pessimistic, and just feeling stuck in Loserville. My name is Anthony Garone, and this is my first video on a brand new YouTube channel designed to help people grow, find their potential, do incredible things with their lives, and get serious. I'm passionate about showing people what it means to be fully alive, like living life to its fullest potential, even and especially when it gets difficult. If you subscribe to this channel, you and I will walk through a variety of challenging topics, talk to interesting people, and learn about ourselves. All I want to do is help you become aware of the mental prison bars you're holding on to, and then I want to help you figure out how to let them go. The work is not easy or fun, but the work is simple and worthwhile. What I've found is that most people don't need more information or education. They already know the truth, and they know exactly what's going on in their lives. They just don't want to admit it. Instead, they want a guru or a prescription to tell them what to do and how to solve their problems. And if that's what you're looking for, that ain't me, and you won't be getting any of that here. But if that does sound like what you're ready for, hit that subscribe button and look for my next video, which will cover why nothing works and there are no solutions to your problems except for one. I'll see you there.